So there are loads of phrases or chunks that Mexicans use all the time, but that never get a mention in textbooks and don't even show up much in class. And guys, if you manage to sneak these into your speech, into your Spanish, boom, you're honestly going to sound so much more natural. So yeah, today I just wanted to talk to you about 3 of my favorite Mexican Spanish chunks. Ready? Okay, so chunk number 1 is como que. Como que. So this is one you've almost certainly heard before because it's super common. But you might not be using it correctly because, well, it's a super nuanced chunk. So yeah, let's quickly run through its 2 most common uses. So let's read some examples first and we'll try to work out together how to use como que in this first context, okay? So example number 1 is como que no me cae tan bien ese güey. And example number 2 is como que está medio raro, ¿no? Okay, so let's have a look at these sentences. Now, both are opinions, okay? They're opinions, and they're also harsh opinions. In the first one, you're saying you don't like someone, pretty harsh. And in the second one, even worse, you're saying that someone's kind of weird, right? So, como que is used to kind of soften a harsh opinion. We actually do the same thing in English with kinda or sorta. So I would translate these 2. That guy kind of rubs me up the wrong way. And the second one would be something like, he's kind of weird, don't you think? So yeah, just as in English, we use como que to soften a harsh opinion. And finally, guys, I just wanted to talk a little bit about intonation. So in our 2 sentences, you're going to find that like the como is quite soft and like the intonation rises and then the emphasis is on the que, okay? This makes it sound like tentative, like I kinda, but I'm not entirely sure. Como que no me cae tan bien, right? I'll get Erika to record these 2 sentences so you can hear a native saying them.
Como que no me cae tan bien ese güey. Como que está medio raro, ¿no?
And guys, very quickly, the second use of como que. Again, let's have a look at some sentences and we'll try to work out together why it's being used. Okay, so here are the 2 sentences. Number 1 is como que ya va a llover. And number 2 is como que está muy grande, ¿no? Okay, so why is como que being used in these sentences? So, unlike the first set of examples, these are opinions, or maybe it's better to say that they're impressions. Let's say opinions or impressions. But this time, you're not sure about what's happening. So you're using como que kind of like to hedge yourself, right? It's like a tentative como que. You're saying, I think this might happen, or this might be the case, but I'm not sure. So in the first example, right, imagine like some guy like sticking his head out the window, and half the sky is dark, cloudy, threatening, and the other sky is light, right? He might say, como que ya va a llover, because he thinks it was going to rain, but he's not entirely sure because half the sky is light. And in the second example, imagine he's looking at an egg, right? It sounds weird, but imagine there's an egg on the table and like, you look at it and you think, huh? This looks bigger than a normal egg. So you might say, como que está muy grande, ¿no? So yeah, these are ways of saying like, I kind of think. You're giving your opinion, but you're not 100% sure. And I almost forgot to say it. I made a free PDF with all the info from this video. Just enter your email down below to snag it. Oh, and you'll also be signed up to our Mexican Spanish newsletter. I send out weekly emails, and honestly, they're super useful. It's not just what we cover in these videos. Okay, so chunk number 2 is capaz que. Capaz que. So you probably already know what capaz means, right? I mean, if you look it up in a dictionary, what's it going to say? Capable. And yeah, of course, it means capable. The dictionary isn't wrong. I'm not saying the dictionary is wrong. but it has another kind of like more colloquial use in Mexican Spanish at least. And you can either say capaz on its lonesome, or capaz que, or capaz y. And they actually all follow like this. The structure is the same, and there's no difference in meaning. You can literally just choose from either of those three. I'll show you what I mean. So let's look at an example first with capaz on its lonesome. So you could say capaz regresa más tarde, which means something like maybe he'll come back later. So basically capaz is being swapped like for like with quizás or tal vez. It just means maybe, okay? And you're normally going to use it at the beginning of a sentence. I have heard it at the end of a sentence, but normally you're going to hear it at the beginning. Okay, so you can also say capaz que and capaz y. As I say, like these structures, there's no difference in meaning between capaz y, capaz que, and capaz on its lonesome. They all mean the exact same thing. And in fact, they're all followed by a conjugated verb, so there's no difference in meaning or usage. An example which I heard on a podcast of capaz que se ponen muy mamados. So this just means maybe they're going to get super stacked. Mamado is Mexican slang for like stacked or muscular, right? I'm probably not the best example of that. And one with y, capaz y armamos algo divertido, which means maybe we'll organize something fun. So this y is just super Mexican. It's a super like colloquial Mexican pattern. You're also going to hear it after ojalá. My mother-in-law says ojalá y sí a lot. It's one of her favorite phrases, in fact. Ojalá y sí, which it just means like, I hope so. Do you think it's going to rain today? Rain's good, right? Because we need our vegetable patch to grow and the grass that we just planted outside our house. So she might say, ojalá y sí, ojalá y sí. One quick comment about the last example, capaz y armamos algo divertido. Armar is a super Mexican verb as well. It basically is normally used like in the context of organizing stuff. Like you can armar una fiesta, right? Organize a party. Or una peda, which is like a drinking session or piss up. Or you can also armar un plan. It's one of those super useful, like multi-purpose verbs, which Mexicans use absolutely everywhere. And guys, if you want to learn more about these multi-use verbs and loads of other aspects of Mexican Spanish, then make sure to sign up to our newsletter, our Mexican Spanish newsletter down below. It's honestly going to really help level up your Mexican Spanish. Anyway, I think it's time for chunk number 3. Okay, so chunk number 3, and perhaps the most useful of the lot, guys, is y aparte. Y aparte. Okay, so again, I'm actually going to get Erika to read a few sentences, and then we'll try to work out like why it's being used together. Here are the sentences.
Me cobraron de más y aparte eran bien groseros. La comida estaba buenísima y aparte barata. Está bien lejos y aparte hay que pagar estacionamiento.
Okay, so now let's analyze these sentences to find out when you actually use y aparte, which is what you want to know, right? So let's have a look at the first part of each sentence. We have me cobraron de más, la comida estaba buenísima, and está bien lejos. So these are all either opinions or like subjective experiences. And guys, when you want to add more information after an opinion or something you experience, be it positive or negative, you can use y aparte. So it only means like something like on top of that, or plus, or even like a more dramatic or emphatic also. So this chunk is obviously amazing for storytelling, especially when you're venting or you're ranting to a friend. And guys, if you enjoyed this video, you're going to absolutely love the one we made on all the different chunks that Mexicans actually use in their day-to-day lives. We teach you more Mexican versions of things like cuánto cuesta and qué piensas. You know where to click.